So I was talking to a friend of mine who was a CTO of a funded company. They've raised millions. They're having good success. And he used to be, he was a guy who worked for me. And I trained him up in coding. Got him right out of school, and I trained him up. And he worked for me for several years. And then he went on to start up his own educational startup. And kudos to him. He's doing well. So I was talking to him about the whole small business website environment that we have out there. So the usual tools that small businesses will use, they'll use either a CMS like WordPress is by far the most popular, maybe a Drupal, a Joomla, although I think Joomla has fallen off. And they'll use maybe web builders like a Wix or a Squarespace or something, and there's others. Now, the thing that we noticed that after all these years, though WordPress and Wix and they're very successful, there's still huge opportunity in that space, whether you're freelancing or whether somebody else comes out with another tool, because the technology is just not there yet to make it super easy for a small business owner to get up a decent site. Yes, they can get up something super simple with a Wix or a Squarespace, but a lot of people will quickly grow out of that because there's only so much you can do with the basic drag and drop templates. And ultimately, there's a huge demand for freelance developers who work with small business owners to help them with their small business website, regardless of the platform. I have seen job listings for Wix developers, believe it or not. And I have to be totally honest with you, I was surprised at first, but then when I looked at Wix a little bit more closely, I could see why. If you know HTML and CSS and you know your basics around your foundations of web design and development, then Wix and Squarespace looks like a joke to you. But you got to remember, most people don't know these things. Most small business owners don't want to know these things. If you're running a flower shop or you got a butcher or I don't know what you're doing, you're selling a massage or therapy or whatever it is, you don't want to learn HTML, you don't want to learn CSS. And things like Wix and Squarespace and usability and UI and social marketing, media marketing and hooking all that up, this is black magic to you. And therein lies a huge opportunity for freelancers to get into that space. You can jump into, and this is just working with these web builders. Then you got the whole WordPress community. WordPress is huge. So many small websites and medium big websites are based on WordPress. And as a result, that opens up another huge opportunity, as I've spoken about in other videos, other vlogs. WordPress is this funny beast where people with just basic design or basic web design skills don't want to touch WordPress because there's some complexity, and people who are actual developers don't want to touch WordPress because they don't like the architecture. It's not the cleanest architecture, that's true. But if you could be one of these individuals who knows HTML5, CSS3, a little bit of JavaScript and some PHP, then you learn a little bit about how to install and configure WordPress, you learn how to work with WordPress themes, and you know the WordPress ecosystem, you know what plugins are good, what plugins are safe, what themes are good, what you can do, what you shouldn't do, blah, 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 boom, then you could be a WordPress professional. I coined this term, the WordPress web designer, I don't know, 10 years ago or so. I said there was going to be a big opportunity there. And sure enough, to this day, I was sitting down with my friends, the CTO of this company. They were looking to put up a quick blog on something. And even though they have custom software for their main app, their main platform, they want to put up a quick vlog. And he tried putting up WordPress. It was like a disaster for him, even though he knew he's a highly experienced developer. He did it because he didn't know WordPress well. He didn't know the ecosystem. He didn't understand what he should work with and what he shouldn't work with. These are all important things. And so he didn't want to touch it, and he gave up after a few hours. I have another friend who's in the company. They do a couple $1 million a year in sales. And it took them like 2 years to find a company that would redo their WordPress site. Just a basic WordPress site. No e-commerce, nothing fancy, just a good-looking WordPress site. And it took them 2 years, so they're spending like $25,000. I forget the exact number now. I think it's 20 or 25,000 to build up their WordPress site, branding-only WordPress site. And they couldn't find people, so they were desperate. They were willing to spend 30 grand, they told me at one point. So it's like, so when people say, oh, don't learn WordPress, it's garbage. Those are silly people. You know, if you're into making money, if you're into building a thriving business, and you want to do freelance development, you want that freedom and that flexibility, WordPress web development is where the money is at. And as I was talking to my friend, the CTO, we see a huge opportunity there. We're sitting down, I said, geez, after, I would have figured, he was telling me, I would have figured at this point, these problems would have been solved. The small business website situation, it's far from solved. There's massive opportunity there. Low-hanging fruit is becoming a freelancer. Become a freelancer, develop efficient workflows so that you can put out product very quickly, meaning put out the small business websites quickly. Probably base it off of WordPress. Maybe learn the basics of Wix and Squarespace. You can offer that too. Throw in some social package in there as well. Bob's your uncle. You're printing money in no time. This is where the workflows come in. Developing your workflows. How do you develop your workflows? Good business strategies, just basic understanding. I teach that in my freelance course, how to set up workflows. But then workflows are very custom to the type of job that you do and how you structure everything. So that's a big part of it. So there you go. Yeah, after all these years, the point of this video is the small business website market is still wide open for innovation and disruption, and still wide open for developers who are willing to bring to the market of those specific skills. I would say you're much better off doing that than getting into some wacky startup world, unless you really know your stuff. Because if you get into the startup world, you probably won't make money for 3 to 5 years. And if you're in the educational startup space, you won't make money for 5 to 10 years. But if you get into the freelance space, you'll make money within a very short period of time. A few months, if you do it properly. Anyway, I hope this vlog is useful. Bye-bye.